Welcome to day three, which is the final day of the virtual MCU Leadership Conference 2025. I am so excited. It has been an incredible journey over the past 2 days, filled with insightful discussions, transformational lessons, and powerful connections. As we step into our final sessions for today, let us reflect on what we have learned. Now, on day one, we redefined leadership in an evolving world and explored the qualities that set great leaders apart. And on day two, we examined mentorship, ethical leadership, and the power of investing in others. And today, we bring it all together. Our focus for this final day is taking action. Wherever you are, I want you to say, I will take action. Now, leadership is not just about learning, it is about applying what we know to create real impact. Today, we will hear from dynamic speakers who will challenge us to move from vision to execution, to lead with purpose, courage, and influence. As we close out this remarkable conference, I encourage you, yes, you who's listening, to first of all seize every moment, which means this is your opportunity to gain final insights that will shape your leadership journey. I also encourage you to engage boldly. It means you should ask the tough questions and seek wisdom from our speakers. And lastly, I want you to commit to action. Information all by itself does not lead to success, lead to conversion. What does action does? So we must commit to action, which means let this conference be the beginning of a new era in your leadership. It has been an honor to walk this great journey with you. The future of leadership is in our hands. Yes, it's in our hands. And I have no doubt that each of you will go forward empowered, equipped, and ready to lead. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make this final day truly extraordinary. I am Dr. John Ughulu, President of Mainseed Christian University, and I am also the convener of MCU Leadership Conference 2025. Thank you. I will introduce our first speaker for the day. He is a friend all the way in Ghana. Now, this is somebody I have known for quite some time now, and he is doing amazing work in the space of leadership development. His name is Mr. David Douglas Tengey. He is a visionary leader dedicated to youth empowerment and sustainable development across Africa. As the founder and executive director of the David Douglas Leadership Forum and the driving force behind the Africa Global Investment Expo, he has led initiatives that provide educational resources, improve sanitation, and also establish clean water projects in communities. Through mentorship, coaching, and leadership training, in collaboration with global partners such as the John C. Maxwell Certified Team and Thunderbird School of Global Management, he has empowered countless young Africans. Under his leadership, the Africa Global Investment Expo, Africa's Pace Investment and Tourism Summit Tour, and Art Festival have all become premier platforms for connecting investors with high impact opportunities across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please join me as I welcome my good friend all the way from Ghana, Mr. David Douglas Tengey. Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining us. The stage is all yours.
It is a great honor honor to have a friend to introduce me like this. It felt like we have been together under one roof. It's just for me to know you are far away in the US and I'm here in Africa. But that is fine. I appreciate the introduction and thank you all for this great job that we are doing. It is a call on us to ensure that we do what we can in our space to impact our youth and also to transform our youth through ethical leadership. So I'm glad you speak about ethical leadership, and that is great. The topic you've given me to speak about is leadership crisis, and that is a great one. Most of the times, when we read books and we listen to these great leaders who talks about leadership and things like that, critical among them, Chinua Achebe, who comes from your own country, Nigeria, who says things fall apart. The center cannot hold anymore. When you listen to leaders talk like this, what basically they are saying is there is crisis, there are problems, there are things that cannot be solved. The center cannot hold anymore. John Maxwell continued to say everything rises and falls on leadership. So what these emphasize is that the success or the failure of any leader, whether personal, organizational, or societal, is heavily influenced by the quality and effectiveness of its leadership. In certain times, crisis leadership involve guiding teams through challenges with resilience, empathy, and strategic thinking, turning adversity into opportunities for growth and building stronger organizations. Crisis leadership is the ability to lead and make good decisions during difficult and unpredictable situations. A crisis can be anything natural, disaster, or economic downturn, cybersecurity attack, or even a pandemic. And in recent times, we've all known about coronavirus, which shook the whole world. These are crises. Strong leaders must remain calm, think quality, and guide their team or organization through tough times. So I have question for our listeners or our viewers this afternoon. This afternoon, because I'm speaking from Ghana, it is morning for you. I know in the US it is morning. Now, what comes to your mind when you hear the word a leader? We can put that in the chat box, and I want everybody to flow with me as I speak. And so it is a question I'm posting to all of us. What comes to your mind when you hear the word a leader? I have some definition here which I'm sharing with you. So a leader is an individual who guides, directs, and inspires others to achieve a common goal or vision. Leaders possess a unique set of skill, traits, and qualities that enable them to motivate, influence, and empower others. The question again is, how many types of leaderships do we have, or leadership position? I also will want to speak briefly about this. When we're talking about leadership, leadership is a position which is occupied by a leader. So they are two different things. We have a leader and then we have the position. So somebody with the quality, the leadership quality, will take over or be put into that leadership position. So until you build yourself, you guide yourself, you lead yourself, you cannot be called into that position, which is leadership position. So what type of these positions that are available in the market that one can possess? So we have like community and grassroots leaders, educational and academic leaders, political and government leaders, business and entrepreneurship leaders. So these are different type of positions that are open, and how you prepare yourself, how you brand yourself, how you equip yourself will determine which of these positions that you can occupy. So let's come back to the topic for the day, which is the crisis leadership. I have been asking myself, why should John give me this topic? Crisis leadership, thriving in uncertain times. Again, I will ask, what are crises? And I want all of you to flow with me. What are crises? When somebody asks this question, what are crises? But I have some definition over here, which I'm going to share with all of us. Crisis is a situation that poses a significant threat to an often I'm sorry about that. All right, so crisis can take many forms. And so I want us to look at the leadership crisis itself. Earlier, I have already spoken about who a leader is, and I have spoken about the position also as leadership position. So a leadership crisis refers to a situation where an organization leadership is unable to, it can be organization and it can be an institution, unable to effectively guide, manage, or make decision, often resulting into a loss of confidence, direction, and stability. All these can occur due to various reasons, and those reasons I will be sharing with you as well. So the question again, we will look at what are the causes of these leadership crises. What are the causes of this leadership crisis? What are the things that trigger this? And what are the things that sometimes when you overlook it as a leader, and government attention to. So the causes. If you are a leader who cannot make decision, an effective decision, or an ethical decision, that is a sign of crisis, which is in the making. If you are a leader, you cannot make a decision or you make poor decisions. Ethically, you are not in a position that people can refer to as an ethical leader. that is a sign of crisis. If you are a leader who is unclear or unrealistic about your goals, missions, or your strategy for your followers, that also is just a crisis in the making, because it will be difficult to understand your vision. The third one is communication. If you are not able to communicate yourself as a leader or be transparent with your followers, it is also a sign of crisis in making. Ineffective management or inability to motivate, empower, or hold team members accountable is also a sign of crisis. Unethical behavior, corruption, or scandals, these are all signs of crisis. So we want to also look at what are the consequences of unaddressed leadership crisis. I have given you the signs of it. I have given you the causes of it. And I have given you what it is itself, crisis, what it is, what constitutes it. Now, we want to look at what will be the consequences when you are seeing those signs glaring at you, but you refuse to address them. What will be the consequences? So, number one, you will have organizational decline. If you are a leader, you are not able to do the above, which I have mentioned. The consequences that will face you is that you have organizational decline. That is to say, decreased performance, market share, or revenue. You will also have a long-term damage to the organization. These are the consequences. You and the reputation of your organization. You may not be able to have people to invest into your organization, and you will have financial ability of finance. You will have financial challenges. People may not be ready to support you, and people in your organization. And so when you seeing these things and you are refusing to manage them or to address them, the challenges that you'll be faced with or the consequences that will come to you are the very things that I have mentioned. Now, you have two ways that you can deal with this as a leader. There are two ways you can deal with it. You can choose to manage it, or you can choose to resolve it. And in resolving it, I will speak about it. And managing it also, I will speak about it. So, what are the ways by which you can manage crisis as a leader? Perhaps maybe those crises are there before you have been appointed as a leader. Speaking to you from Ghana, we have changed government recently, and there are so many things that are coming up. When you listen to the new ministers that they have appointed, some of the CEOs that they have appointed, the institutions that they are heading, issues arising, some of them with respect to mismanagement of fund, monies being transferred or things like that. These are crises that are existing from the previous government, and they came to inherit it. So these are not crises that they have created by themselves, but these are crises that somebody has created and they have inherited. So for instance, if you have been appointed as a leader, or you have been called as a leader or elected as a leader into a position, and the position where you are leading or the organization which you are leading, there are challenges such as this. What are the ways, or what will be your approach to resolving those challenges? And so to resolve those challenges, two ways approach, which I have, and I'll be sharing it with you. And one of them, as I said, is you can choose to manage it, or you would choose to resolve it. Now, if you want to manage it, what are the effective ways by which you can manage it? Number one, preparation. You need to prepare yourself. You need to plan yourself. You need to go through series of training and make sure that you make resources available that can support you and your team to be able to face those challenges and have ways by which you can overcome them. Number two, as a leader, when you are in a position such as this, the best thing for you to do is to be transparent to your followers. And you have to make sure that you can communicate yourself enough to be understood. Clarity is important, and you have to be timely with your updates. You need to update your followers, or maybe your leaders, people who are above you. You have to make sure that you update them, you are transparent with them, and you communicate with them. You have to collaborate with people. Teamwork is very important. Partnership is very important. And engagement is very, very important. Perhaps you need to engage with other institutions to be able to solve the problem which is existing in your organization. You need to partner with people to be able to resolve that problem in your organization. And you need to team with your own workers. Be open with them to be able to resolve that issue. You also have to review and make sure that you improve upon what you have seen as a threat or the cause of that problem in your organization. You need to do timely reviewing with everything that goes on in the organization, documentation wise, whatever it is, and make sure that you improve upon what you came to meet. You have to debrief and also continue with improvement, which I have already mentioned. Now, number two, which I talked about also, is if you decide to resolve it entirely, what do you need to do? The first one I speak about is when you want to manage it. So those are the processes by which you can choose to manage it. Now, if you want to resolve it, what are the means by which you have to resolve it as the leader. And mind you, I did mention the quote by John Maxwell. He said, everything rises and falls on leadership. So you as the leader, everybody is looking up to you. Everybody is looking up to you as to what will be your approach to resolving that issue or that crisis which is in your organization. Number one, what do? You have to first of all accept that there is crisis in your organization. That is the foundation of it. You need to accept that something is wrong. Something is not connecting. The foundation is shaken. When you come to that realization, then you know that you have problem. It is either you have inherited problem, or you have been appointed into problem, or you have been called into problem. Now, by this acceptance, then you have to identify the root cause of that crisis or the problem that is in the organization. You have to identify the root cause. With this, you are trying to resolve it or to uproot it, for better word. Now, by identifying the root cause of that problem, you need to also assess the impact of it. What is the impact of that crisis which is in your organization? You need to assess it. You have to acknowledge the fact that your organization is sinking. Number two, by coming to that space, what do you have to do next? You have to develop a transition plan as a leader, because now you have identified the root cause of it. You have assessed it. So by doing all this, now you need to take a step by resolving it. Develop a transition plan. That is number one. Number two, you need to establish an interim leadership structure. You need to establish an. Number three, you need to recruit new staff if possible. If it called that you have to change all of them, the old staff, you have to change all of them, you change them. If it called that you have to sack them, you sack them, lay them off, recruit new people into new positions. Identify and appoint a suitable replacement for employing. What you need to do after that is implement reforms. You need to address underlying issues, improve communication, and enhance team leadership development. What that means is that you can choose to organize workshop for these people, or you can employ organizations to do training for them. What do you do after that also? You need to build trust in this new team that you are building. If you are building on the old team, then what you have to do is to rebuild trust in them. And you as the leader who is going through all these processes to ensure that your organization take a new phase, you have to make sure that you are transparent to yourself and you are transparent to your followers. And accountability, very, very important. You can run away from it. And you need to know one integral part of this is cannot find integrity. You don't have it. It's a currency. If you don't have it, you have nothing to trade with. Integrity is a currency. If you don't have it, you don't have anything to trade with because nobody will be willing to work with you. And you also have to be open in your communication. So, in resolving crises in your organization, all these things that I have mentioned as a leader, you have to make sure you follow up and then you implement them. I want to conclude with this by mentioning some historical leaders who have seen crises in their countries and what was the approach. What do they do to resolve those crises? And to some of them, they have to lay down their lives. Common among them that we know, Nelson Mandela, anti-apartheid revolutionary and former president of South Africa, spending 27 years in prison just to make sure that he bring his country out from what he deemed as crisis at the time by under the leadership of the Western world. We can talk about is it Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian independent activist and leader. We can talk about Martin Luther King, the American Baptist minister and civil rights activist. We can talk about Abraham Lincoln, who was the 16th president of the United States, known for leading the country through the Civil War, and others like that. And so, in conclusion, what am I trying to say? As a leader, either you accept it or not, these very things that I talk about, you will be faced with when you are called into leadership position. When you are leading people, they are inevitable. It will happen. But then if you are faced with these crises, how then do you solve them? And you have to make sure that you adopt or you have a methodology that can help you to come out of it. Recently, Trump was elected as the president of America. To the best of his knowledge, he believed America is going through crisis. And he thought dealing with these illegal migrants is the best way by which he can resolve these issues. And so his first approach is to send everybody back home. If you don't have the right document, you have to go. But either that is the best way to go about it, nobody knows. But that is his style of leadership. And that is what he thinks is the solution to the problem that is faced with his country, which he has been elected to lead. So everybody has his own ways or method by which you can resolve issues in your organization. But critical to them are those that I have mentioned over here. So I want to be grateful to you, my brother John, for adding me to this team and to speak on your platform. I'm grateful, and I hope we will meet again uh, to speak on other areas. I will also be inviting you to come back to our Sunday leadership platform if time will permit you to do so. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, Mr. David. It's been a pleasure, privilege listening to you. I got a lot of reminders and refreshers from your presentation, and I would say you delivered. You did a wonderful job,
Thank you very much.
and especially when it comes to the issue of crisis management. That is key. For organizations, for all kinds of institutions, even in our personal lives. It is very, very important to work on crisis management. So you talked about, you said something that resonates with me. You said if leaders fail to address organizational crisis, they will face organizational decline. And that is true.
Yeah.
You also said they would be faced with long term damage, which resonates with me. And you said, thirdly, that potential investors or investments and opportunities might be missed because
Yeah.
nobody wants to invest in an organization or a country or an institution or a family that is having crisis, even though we know crisis is part of growth process, right?
Right.
But it is best for leaders to ensure that they put all plans in place. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was powerful. And you also said, as a leader, managing and trying to resolve crisis should be a major task
Of
because there would
course.
always be crisis, right?
Sure.
Crisis is
Yeah.
what leads to growth. Crisis is
Yeah.
what leads to expansion because you must go
Right.
through all that. Now, when they hire people to come lead organizations or teams, or they're hiring you as a leader to come and solve problems,
Right.
to come and
Yes.
resolve crisis. So
Yes.
you said as a leader, and trying to resolve crisis is a major task. And you also shared some strategies on how to get that done. So we really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. And we hope to see you or invite you, to our future leadership conferences. And thank you so much for the invitation to participate in your conference. I'll be more than happy to do that. So God bless you,
Sure.
sir, and
Thank you
enjoy the
very much.
rest of your day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. Look, if you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is the best time for you to do that now. Subscribe, click on the notification icon so that you can always receive notifications when we upload new content, and leave a comment as well as share this broadcast. Why? Because you might just be saving the life of that one person or that organization that has been looking for a pathway to crisis management. God bless you all. So I will be introducing our next speaker for today. She's all the way in Canada. Her name is Dr. Nompumelelo. Governance, diplomacy, and protocol specialist with a PhD in Christian leadership and business. As the founder of Rise to Greater Heights Network, she has a proven track record of empowering high achieving coaches, elite startups, and business leaders to dominate their industries leveraging her experience as a chief executive officer and consultant for Fortune 100 and multi-million dollar enterprises. A 10-time number one Amazon and international best-selling author, Dr. Kunene is also the award-winning host of the Rise to Greater Heights Network. It is a podcast, and she is also a dynamic certified Les Brown International speaker. Her passion for leadership, business, excellence, and global impact continues to inspire audiences worldwide. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please join me as I make welcome no other person but Dr. Nompumelelo Real Kunene to our leadership conference. Thank you for joining us. The stage is all yours.
What an honor again and a privilege to be on this platform today. With all protocol observed, I just want to take this opportunity to first greet our amazing host, Dr. John Ughulu, and our honorable guest speakers that I'm actually sharing this platform with today. I had a moment to listen to their messages. Man, mind blowing, thought provoking insights that they've shared, and also the floor at large. Wow, it's an honor and a privilege to be in your presence. I just want to applaud, Mainseed Christian University for putting together a platform like this where we can all come and empower leaders of tomorrow. Because, every leader embarks on a journey not just to achieve success, but to leave a mark that transcends time and organizational boundaries. So, the essence of a leadership legacy lies in the profound impact of the values that you instill, the vision that you leave behind for others to follow for the next generation. So it's high time, kings and queens, you craft your leadership legacy. Craft your leadership legacy, which is a topic that I'm going to be sharing today because you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today by instilling all these leadership traits that are required for you to be a successful leader. So if you are that entrepreneur who dream of like reshaping the world through your business and envision like several extra commas in your bank account, yet you find yourself like blocked on your journey to success. Trust me, I am the answer. Oh, hi, by the way, like Dr. John mentioned, I am Dr. Riel and Kunene, and I am not for the timid, but I am the rocket fuel that your business needs to blast past barriers and rise to greater heights. So, as your business strategist and optimizer, what I do is that I empower motivated professionals to discover their full potential and shift them into growth overdrive. So, from owning two diverse companies to having experience as a CEO and guiding Fortune 500 companies to helping multi-million dollar enterprises, really, I believe that I have a distinctive talent for empowering high achieving coaches, elite startups, and business leaders to become dominant forces in their industries because I believe that the sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. You'll have to be the one in charge of your own driver's seat, kings and queens. Be the one in charge of your own driver's seat because you are the driver here. So let's explore how one can actually craft a leadership legacy that resonates and endures. So the first thing that you'll have to do, you'll have to define your core values. Yes, define your core values because your legacy starts with your core values. These are the principles that will guide your decisions, actions, and interactions with others. You'll have to identify and start by living by those core values. Set a foundation for your leadership style and influence the culture of your organization. Make your core values clear and demonstrate them consistently in every aspect of your work. really my experience it spans over 6 years in diplomatic and protocol service, and I believe that I have a proven record of being able to navigate through varying company levels across business and functional areas. I cultivate cooperative and constructive working relationships, and I also have a comprehensive understanding of developing policy recommendations and also draft like policy documents, because I have decided to define my core values. And one can say that, you know what, I am a leader who establishes and maintain liaison with officials of government ministries, as well as consulate diplomatic representatives, and also with private sector organizations, and undertaking research in protocol, policy, and procedures, because I've decided to define my core values. So it's a wake up call, kings and queens. It's a wake up call to define those core values. It's a wake up call to craft your leadership legacy. It's a wake up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and craft your leadership legacy? And also, you also have, in order for you to be able to craft your leadership legacy, you'll have to foster a culture of empowerment. Yes, foster a culture of empowerment. You'll have to empower those around you to step up, take risks, and also innovate, encouraging autonomy as well as providing opportunities for growth. It doesn't only propels your team forward, but it also embeds a sense of confidence and ownership across the organization. So a leader's legacy is often seen in their success and advancement of their team members. Go out there and foster that culture of empowerment within your organization. Really, with me, Rise to Greater Heights Network, it continues to foster a culture of empowerment in such a way that now we have expanded. We have a team of virtual assistants. We have a team of administrative support who is really ready to take on those bothersome but crucial tasks by giving business owners more time to focus on what matters the most in that business. So our team, they specialize in helping international organizations as well as governments to structure and streamline and manage their administration as well as technical needs, to strategically weave together all the moving parts of their business to kind of create systems and automations that really work. And this is all possible because we've decided to foster a culture of empowerment. Kings and queens, let's face it, you can't give from an empty cup, but you need to fill up your cup first, and then you're going to be able to share with the world from the overflow, because you can't give from an empty cup. So it's high time you fill up your cup first by crafting your leadership legacy. Craft your leadership legacy. And you can also craft your leadership legacy by investing in relationships. Yes, you have to invest in those relationships, because the strength of your relationships can define your leadership legacy. And you have to invest some time in understanding, mentoring, and connecting with your team on a personal level. You might ask me why. I'm glad you've asked that, because showing genuine interest and care for your colleagues, it fosters a loyal and engaged team. And these relationships often become the most memorable part of your own legacy. So you'll have to invest in those relationships. Try to build those who are around you. Try to build your staff, build your clients by investing in those relationships. So to me, when it comes to investing in my relationships, really, I don't just play the game, but I redefine it. What I do, I empower my team as well as motivated professionals to kind of shatter the glass ceilings of self doubt and limitations, and propelling them into a realm of unstoppable success. So, with my rich tapestry of experience, spending over 10 years in coaching, really, I believe that I've been a catalyst for high achievers to compress time, to orchestrate accelerated breakthroughs and quantum leaps or in their success. So, as a business strategist and optimizer, really, I can say that I've been a ticket to new levels of achievements, as well as my powerful signature online program, Rise to Greater Heights, which has been there for quite some time. It continues to equip motivated professionals with a system built of an arsenal of potent tools which enables them to thrive and catapult their lives, businesses, as well as teams to greater heights. So it's high time we craft our leadership legacy. And how can you also craft your leadership legacy? You'll have to lead with vision and purpose. It's so crucial that you lead with your team, your organization with vision and purpose, because a visionary leader sets the direction and inspires others to follow. So clearly, you'll have to articulate your vision for the future and rally your team around a shared purpose. So this sense of direction and mission, it not only motivates your team, but it also leaves a lasting impact on what you really want to achieve together, not just as an individual, but you'll have to achieve this together. So you'll have to lead with a vision and purpose. And with me, really, my vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration that they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. And my mission is not only to meet the needs and transform lives of my clients and my audience, but I am also a change maker. I'm a trailblazer. I am a revolutionary who is just pushing boundaries and creating a real change out there in the world. Because, like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, I just want to challenge you. I just want to challenge you, if you're watching and listening under my voice, that you have to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights by crafting your leadership legacy. Craft your leadership legacy. And how can you also craft your leadership legacy? You can also embrace and drive change. Yes, embrace and drive change, because the willingness to embrace and drive change is a hallmark of influential leadership. By championing innovation and adapting to industry shifts, you set a precedent for resilience and forward thinking within your organization. So your legacy will be the one of growth, adaptability, and the courage to navigate the unknown by choosing to embrace and drive change. With me, I know that we all have a voice, but not everyone knows how to use it. So, as an advocate for human rights, what I've done in the past and what I'm still doing, I encourage change makers and educate them on the issues at hand before I start calling out issues, so that their voices can be heard too. Because the whole idea here is to hear everyone's voice, not just one side voice. So I work with the individuals in charge, listening closely before I call out those issues that need to change. I serve not just as a vocal protester, but I go one step further by encouraging these changes through education instead of merely telling government leaders why something needs fixing, which happens quite frequently. So you'll have to craft your leadership legacy by embracing that change, because your leadership legacy is the echo of your influence. And it is also the imprint you leave on your organization and industry. It's about the lives that you touch to begin with, the culture that you cultivate, and the vision you set forth. So, by focusing on your values, empowering others, building strong relationships, and leading with purpose, and embracing that change, you are creating a legacy that endures. As you reflect, on the legacy you wish to leave, remember that it's the daily actions that you take, the decisions that you make, and the interactions that shape how you are remembered. So, kings and queens, it's always good to strive to make each day a testament to the leader that you aspire to be. Because, as flight attendants always say, that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist the person who's sitting next to you. Because if you don't, Trust me, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down because you forgot to put on that oxygen mask first to yourself. So it's high time you put on that oxygen mask first to yourself because the reality is your journey to become a better person. It doesn't start with that person who was sitting next to you. It doesn't start with your clients. It doesn't start with your spouse, but your journey to become a better person, it starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. So don't ever, ever give up on your heart's desires. Just recall this, just in case you can't find your way, that you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. I am a firm believer of affirmations, so we're going to affirm this together. We're going to affirm this together as if we're taking an oath by placing our left hand on our chest, and then we're going to raise our right hand. If you're watching and listening under my voice today, just repeat this after me, that I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Can you say it one more time as if you have faith in your own powerful voice? And guess what? It will echo throughout the whole universe. Say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. You know what? Just give yourself a round of applause because, yes, you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. You can have the drive within you to get where you want to be in the next 6 months. You can have the drive within you to craft your own leadership legacy because the drive is just inside of you. It's not from the outside of you. You can have that drive within you. It's so funny. When I was in the eighth grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And the way it resonates with me, and it's part of my destiny. So for those of you who really don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird built to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Maybe let me say in the next 6 months. I know myself, I am one of those. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So, as a coach or as a mentor, like many of us here, my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired actions to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I so wish that you can just tell yourself that you know what, throughout all these 3 days, it's high time I go out there and be the change because all these amazing speakers they've shared all the nuggets on how you can actually craft your leadership legacy. It's high time you go out there and make a difference and be the change that you want to see in this world. But in order for you to go out there and be the change and make a difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like a hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes this way. It doesn't matter if you had a giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. Yes, it's lunch. And it's so funny though, because even with elephants, what they do when they say lion is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I say lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to be able to craft our own leadership legacy. Because I believe that we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up. We don't rise by tearing anyone down or maybe stepping over another person to get to the top, but we rise by lifting each other up. Please write this down. Write this down in conclusion. resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future. But here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that with God, we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow His strategy. This is when the growth commences because discovering gifts and following God's idea, it will show you your reason why you are alive here. It will make you understand that you have a purpose to fulfill while you're still alive here. And you'd have to follow your passion. If you follow your passion, you will try by all means to impact the many lives around you because you've decided to follow your own passion by crafting your own leadership legacy. I so wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, it's high time I go out there and be the change. Because my everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me, listening to all these amazing messages, it stirred something within me. Trust me, it stirred something within me. And that was when I decided to follow my dreams, which gave me a purpose to see my goals through and understand that I do have everything around me to reach to my full potential. So this year, I'm also determined to rise to greater heights with as many motivated individuals who are maybe ready to start, grow, and scale their businesses within 90 days. Perhaps you are that individual who started writing your book and then you were like, you know what? I don't have time for this. But I'm here to tell you that yes, you can still write that book and publish that number one bestseller book. And that book is going to continue selling because you've decided to put your mind in there that I want this to work for me. So I offer a free, no obligation, 30-minute friendly Zoom consultation call, which will kind of allow me to find out more about the issues that you're experiencing and also to see if you're a perfect fit for any of my programs because really I work with individuals who's gonna gain something from me. So if you're interested maybe to become a public speaker, an author, a coach, or maybe that entrepreneur just wanna multiply your income by doing what you truly love, and make a real impact out there. I am here. I just want to empower you to become a highly effective and an inspiring leader with a personalized, measurable, but a scalable program. So go on my website at www.rise2greaterheights and book that free consultation call with me because everything I do in life and in business really it comes with a guarantee because my ultimate goal is that you feel extremely confident about your purpose. We'll take it one step at a time, and you are definitely going to transform. So if you give me your why, I'll show you the how. How cool is that? So this consultation it offers accountability, education, growth, as well as success. Why am I doing this? You might have to ask, why now? You know, I've been there, I've done that, and I know how it feels like. I remember myself 5 years ago, I was completely lost in the hustle. I was overwhelmed. I was exhausted. I remember I had ton of ideas, but there was no tried and true strategy to run with my ideas. And it was only when I invested in coaching, and that was when I saw that things they started to change, and I built an income generating business just doing what I truly love, what I'm passionate about. So now, you know, it's your turn to build your own world because the power is just inside of you. So go on my website at www.risetogreaterheights.com and book that free consultation call with me. Because growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God that I missed that flight because I'm still here. I'm still sharing my message. I'm still impacting as many lives as much as I can because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you, love you, love you so much, mom. So I think whosoever say that the sky is the limit, was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, Dr. John Ughulu. Thank you so much, Dr. Nicole.
Yes, thank you so much. That was a powerful presentation. I truly do appreciate you for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule. And I know you have been able to inspire one person out there to step into their leadership. And you talked about crafting your leadership legacy, which was a topic you were given. And from your presentation, I was able to gain a few reminders, a lot of reminders, not a few. So I want to say we appreciate you. You reminded us that as leaders, we rise by lifting others. I love that. Yes, we rise by lifting others. You also said we should see our setback, whatever it is, as a setup for our comeback. So as leaders, there would always be setbacks, but we need to make sure that we allow those setbacks become a setup for our comeback. Thank you. And you also said God has put seeds of excellence in every one of us. So yes, every leader who's listening right now, whether you are a brand new leader or a seasoned leader, yes, God has put seeds of excellence in every one of us. Thank you so much for reminding us about all these. And I believe that your message would help somebody today transition from where they are to where they truly want to be in their leadership journey. God bless you. We hope to invite you in our future conference. And until that time, stay blessed and we'll be in touch. God
Thank you.
bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. Don't worry, for day 3, we will be having our last speaker for the day. We're not having too many speakers today, but the last speaker will be sharing some leadership gems. And I have known this man for some time now, and he is an amazing leader. I must tell you that he is an amazing leader. He is someone we can all learn from. His name is Neco Johnson Sr. He is an accomplished executive coach and leadership consultant, specializing in organizational leadership, management, human resources, and adult education. Now, with a master's in education from Central Michigan University and a distinguished career in the U.S. Air Force, where he rose to the top 1% of his field, Neco has developed a leadership style that empowers professionals to overcome challenges, to build confidence, and also to reach their full potential. As the former executive director of training and development for all first sergeants in the U.S. Air and Space Forces, he has a deep passion for nurturing talent and transforming individuals into first class leaders. Committed to unlocking unrecognized potential within organizations, Neco helps leaders thrive and drive success. Beyond his professional achievements, he is a devoted husband, father of 5, and grandfather of 3, drawing inspiration from his family as he continues his mission of leadership excellence. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me as we welcome Neco Johnson Sr. to the Leadership Conference 2025. Thank you.
Leadership 2025. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, I just want to say thanks to John and to Mainseed Christian University. We appreciate everything that you all are doing to just put some goodness out there in the world, right? Everything that you do to serve and lead others, truly appreciate it. So thank you for what you do, and much appreciated for the invite. Hello, everyone. It's great to be able to spend a few minutes here with you today, speaking on leadership, which is my passion. And I love every time I have an opportunity to come together with people, for people, or even on the receiving end of leadership. And I'm passionate about this because, as John mentioned in my bio, throughout my career, I've seen the impacts of unrecognized potential and overlooked talent in organizations. And so my goal is to help leaders at all levels to overcome these challenges, right? And to drive their teams and their organizations to success. So I just want to spend a little bit of time with you today to speak on the topic of the future of work and leadership trends. Basically, embracing change, leading with purpose, and building a future-ready mindset. What does it take to do all of that? So we're just going to jump right into it, because leadership as we know it, it's already dead. Yeah, I said it. It's already dead, because what got us here, the hierarchies, the control, the rigid processes, that stuff may not get us where we need to go. The best leaders aren't just sitting around waiting for change. They are the change, right? And I learned this firsthand during the very early portion of my leadership journey. Let's go all the way back to summer of 2007. Air Force. I was deployed in a combat environment. And I can still remember flying in on an aircraft to where it was so dangerous out there. The aircraft had to pretty much fly in almost at a vertical angle just to avoid enemy air fire as we were trying to land on the base out there overseas in the Middle East. And that was the first alarm for me. That was the first alarm, like, wow, right? Like, this is real. This was real. And once we landed, it was pretty much nonstop from that point forward. Right? Our base was targeted several times a day with several mortar rounds being shot at us. Right? And every time those alarms began to go off, we were forced to stop what we were doing and run and take cover under these large concrete barriers, fortified concrete barriers. It was crazy. This was eye-opening. It was surprising. I was shocked. And to be honest, it was scary. Right? I filled a support role in the Air Force. Right, I'm a support player. I'm the guy in the background. I'm not some experienced combat warrior, right? I won't take that kind of credit. So I wasn't used to that type of environment. But it quickly became the norm for all of us. It became a new normal, and we had to adjust to that new and dangerous and ever-changing environment. And so while learning to survive in that environment, it was also during that deployment that I truly realized the impact of my duties. I came to understand the deeper strategic impact of my duties. I understood my purpose. My job impacted people's lives. My job impacted other people's abilities to do their jobs. My job impacted people's safety, their well-being, and ultimately their freedom. And so although I couldn't see it at the time, that was a very good developmental opportunity for me as a young leader. Because in those moments, surrounded by chaos, I learned a very valuable lesson. Leadership isn't about controlling every single situation. It is about staying grounded, adaptable, and focused, even when everything around you is changing. I share that story because the future of work can feel a lot like that battlefield. Our environment is constantly changing rapidly. Technology is evolving constantly. Work models are shifting often, and new generations are entering the workforce daily with fresh, creative perspectives. And so for us to thrive, leaders must be able and willing to adapt just as quickly if they want to effectively guide their teams through uncertainty, and if they want to guide their teams to success. And you know, many of us are living that as we speak, right? Think about the recent government changes, at least here in the US, right? DOGE, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, right? It's hitting a lot of organizations right now. A lot is changing, and it's happening fast. And so when everything around you is uncertain, leadership isn't about titles or authority anymore. It's about clarity. It's about adaptability, and it's about action. Leadership in today's world is evolving faster than ever. So the way we work, the expectations of our teams, the challenges leaders face every day are shifting. Everything that worked in the past may not work in the future. So we've got to adjust. So how do we lead effectively in this new era? I'll tell you, in my own career, whether leading airmen, developing rising military leaders, or working with corporate leaders, one thing has remained constant. The best leaders are the ones who adapt, who serve, and who inspire. And so today, I just want to briefly walk you through some of the key trends that are shaping the future of work. And then I want to touch on some of the leadership skills that are needed to thrive if you want to help your teams find success. And again, I spoke on that a little bit. In today's workplace, uncertainty is the norm. That's normal nowadays. If you wait to adapt, then you're already behind. Right? You've already behind the curve. So how do we lead? Again, the question is, how do we lead in a world that's constantly shifting? Well, we don't react to the future. We prepare for it. You got to be prepared. So let's start by grounding ourselves in the facts. Here are a few major trends that are defining the future of work and leadership. Trend number one, artificial intelligence and automation. AI. Oh my goodness. AI is going to change everything. Matter of fact, AI is changing everything, right? It is transforming roles at every level right now. Jobs that once relied on repetitive tasks are disappearing because AI is taking care of that. So now new opportunities emerge that require problem-solving skills, require more adaptability, require more emotional intelligence, right? More control of our head and heart, right? Because leaders must not just implement technology. Right? Now that is important. We've got to get on this AI train, but we've got to also be able to guide our teams through these transitions without losing the human element. That's key, because artificial intelligence should never replace great leadership. While AI is amazing, it is an asset to any organization, and it can rapidly process data. But it can't lead with emotional intelligence. It can't lead with as much creativity and vision that a human can. Now, don't get me wrong, it is getting better, especially on the creativity piece. It is getting better and better, but it's not us. It's not us, right? So the future doesn't belong to those who can perform like machines, those who can be programmed like machines. No, the future belongs to those who can manage those things and still lead like humans, right? So trend number two, purpose. Purpose. I've heard some of the previous speakers talking about purpose, and I'm going to hit on it as well because we cannot overstate purpose. Employees don't just want a job, right? We're talking about the future. We're talking about forward thinking. They don't just want a job. They want to belong to something bigger. Your role as a leader is to connect vision to the actual mission impact. People aren't leaving companies for no reason. They are leaving because leaders are failing to connect them to their purpose. Connecting them to their purpose means, first off, you got to know and understand the purpose. You've got to understand it. So knowing and conveying the why behind that order, that task, that role, or the organization itself. Why do we even exist? Clarity of purpose guides all other decisions, large and small, for every organization. In life, in work, or war, people get their meaning from seeing how they fit into the higher purpose. And for that to happen, first, a higher purpose has to exist, right? We've got to have a higher purpose first. Second, it must be known. Unfortunately, a lot of employees around the world don't always understand their purpose. And some of the leaders don't understand their purpose either. That's a whole nother problem in itself. So the question is not, what are we here to do? The question is, what are we here to achieve? Why are we doing what we're doing? Are we working toward mission success, or are we being sidetracked with lesser objectives that are just wasting our time? Our purpose must drive our analysis, our decisions, and our actions. Leaders should always be able to articulate how the day-to-day tasks will lead to achievement of the organization's mission and vision. And so with that, instilling purpose in your people, that's going to demand time invested in your people. That's going to require mentoring and coaching. Asking and listening. It's going to require a genuine demonstration of interest in your employees as professionals and as people, as individual human beings. It's going to require a lot of us because purposeful leadership is the backbone of organizational culture. Then it is passed along every level of that organization, and that leadership is spread throughout the organization as team members develop and as they rotate to new positions and sometimes even new organizations. They have to understand their purpose. The next trend, hybrid and remote work. Leadership beyond the office. That's a big one nowadays. Share some research with you. Research states that 74% of professionals expect remote work to become a standard offering from most organizations. 74%. That's a big expectation. Research also states that the number one thing employees want from their leaders is better communication. So on one hand, they want more flexible options for remote work. On the other hand, they want better communication from their leadership team. Oh, you've got a challenge now. You've got a big challenge. Because while many professionals, at least here in the US, are being forced back into their office buildings, the world isn't fully going back to the old ways. Hybrid and remote work is here to stay. It's here to stay, and your leadership and communication ability must transcend locations. While flexibility has its benefits, I love it. Hybrid, remote work, very flexible work environments. It also creates challenges, team cohesion, engagement, accountability. All these things must be maintained in a virtual and hybrid environment. Because influence is no longer just about your physical presence. It's also about consistent, clear, meaningful engagement with your employees, your teammates, and your stakeholders. So again, we've got some work to do, because if your influence is only effective in the office, you're already obsolete. You are already obsolete. It's time to step it up and elevate your effectiveness, family. It's time to step it up. And relationships are the key to leadership. Relationships. So if we are going to continue leading into the future, we must discover how to create trust and bonds that will transcend the walls of any physical building. So where are you focusing your priorities? How much time do we spend training on products and skills versus how much time we spend training on dealing with people? That's a question for you to take back and answer for yourself. Because successful organizations are prioritizing lifelong learning and leadership development to stay ahead of the game. That's what the future is looking like. So if the nature of work is changing, what does that mean for leadership? If work is changing, leadership needs to change. So that means to be effective as a leader of the future, we must develop skills that go beyond managing tasks. We have to get better at leading people. This human domain is the number one thing in the world, the human domain, right? How do we prepare for that? Well, here are 3 critical leadership traits that will continue to define the future. 3 traits. Number 1, servant leadership. That's not a new word, not a new phrase, right? But we're going to talk about it and through my lens today. Servant leadership. One of the greatest leadership lessons I learned was from my time working for Technical Sergeant Thomas Baker. He was my very first supervisor in the Air Force. Now, Sergeant Baker was different. He was a big country, muscle-bound white guy, right? Big white dude, blue-collar worker, very rough around the edges type of guy, right? Didn't have any filter. And so when I first met Sergeant Baker, there was just something about the way he spoke to me that it triggered me. It kind of turned me off a little bit. And it reminded me of some negative childhood interactions I had with men who kind of looked and talked like him, right? It was an immediate distrust. So initially I kept my distance from him. I was like, I'm good on Sergeant Baker. I don't want to be around him. So I quickly went out and made friends with some like-minded peers in the military dormitories. But unfortunately, I also quickly found myself caught up in a criminal investigation due to the actions of one of my new peers. Yeah, I was arrested. I was busted for obstruction of justice. I received some harsh, non-judicial punishment and had my stripes taken away from me. Lost all my rank early in my career. And that was a low point for me, I will say, That was a low point for me. And at a time when I expected everyone to judge and turn their backs on me, Sergeant Baker stepped up. Sergeant Baker, this rough dude here, Sergeant Baker stepped up and took me under his wing. He invited me into his home. I met his wife, his 2 kids, enjoyed a nice holiday meal with the family. It was great. Sergeant Baker showed me support when I needed it most. And slowly, he earned my trust. He made me feel like I belonged on that team. He paid attention to our needs, our challenges. And for me, wow, after all of that drama, things were finally starting to get better. And I was starting to find my lane at this location. Very, very first assignment of my career. So eventually I took some time off to go home and visit my extended family down in Florida. You know, I just needed some time. I took a whole month. Traveled home to visit my extended family. And after 30 days of some much needed leave, I returned to my duty station, fully energized and ready to go. I was recharged. It was time to get back to business, right? I returned to some devastating news. A coworker called to inform me that Sergeant Baker had taken his own life. What? Hold on, man. Are you not Sergeant Baker? Sergeant Baker. All this time, Sergeant Baker had been fighting internal battles that overcame him. Very sad. As my life and as my career moved forward, I would often reflect back to that situation and ask myself, how can someone that was going through so much internal turmoil find value in me? This man was broken to the point that he stopped valuing his own life, but he still came to work every day and consistently showed me love. If a broken man can do that, then what's my excuse? I have got to show up every day and serve. That experience taught me the true essence of servant leadership and its impact on organizational culture. It's about looking beyond the surface. It's about connecting with people and creating the right environment for them to succeed. Now, yes, I get it. I'm not glorifying suicide. Sergeant Baker lost his battle, but being able to share his story and help prevent others from making that same mistake is what has allowed me to cope with his loss over the years. True leadership includes cultivating a culture of service. Sergeant Baker made sure his airmen had what they needed. He developed their skills and he ensured he removed obstacles from their path. He understood that leadership isn't about titles. It's about impact. Servant leadership builds trust, loyalty, and long-term success. The best leaders in the future will be those who empower, not control their teams. Servant leadership. Next is resilient leadership. I talked about my deployments earlier, right? During my deployments, I saw firsthand how critical it is to remain steady under pressure. Our ability to maintain operational effectiveness, whether we're keeping communication systems running, whether we're supporting our medical teams performing emergency situations, right? First aid, or ensuring success in other areas, it all depends on our personal and professional resilience. And I learned that resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about finding purpose in the struggle. Again, we're talking about the future today. The future will challenge us, but resilient leaders will see these challenges as opportunities. The workplace of the future will continue to present unexpected challenges, frustrations, rapid disruptions, new pressures. Resilient leaders will focus on solutions, adaptability, and maintaining composure under stress. The organizations that thrive will be those whose leaders can resist the comfort of steadiness and predictability. Leaders who can make tough decisions, guide their teams through adversity without losing sight of the mission. Leaders who can navigate constant change while keeping their people focused and inspired. That's what it's all about. The future belongs to those who are bold enough to lead through uncertainty and challenging times and do so with resilience. Next, we have authenticity. I hope y'all keeping up with me. I know I'm bringing a lot of information to you today, but authenticity, right? Very important, very critical, a tool for any leader in any situation. Quick story. There was a point in my career where I struggled with imposter syndrome. And stepping into leadership roles, I sometimes felt the pressure to be someone that I wasn't. I felt like I had to fit into a certain leadership mode and be and act and speak a certain way, right? But what I learned over the years was that the most effective leaders are the ones who can embrace their authentic selves. It's just that simple. And when I think about authentic leadership, I think about Ryan McCauley, good friend of mine. We want to go back several years. Several years ago, he approached me about taking on a key leadership position in the organization. I was intimidated, so I declined. I told him no. I was like, no thanks. I'm good. I'm not built for that. As a matter of fact, I don't have the personality for that. I can't be you. He laughed at me, y'all. He laughed at me and said, good, because I don't need you to be me. He said, I need you to be you. I see how you handle your responsibilities and how people respond to you. That's what we need. He said, that's the kind of leadership we need around this organization. Wow. Wow. That moment changed everything for me. It changed everything. I accepted that opportunity. I accepted it. Still unsure, still intimidated. But once I stepped into that role, I fell in love with the position, fell in love with it. And I found success, not by trying to be someone else, but by leaning into my own strengths and leading as my authentic self. Amazing. That decision has led to a 10-year journey of constant elevation, growing as a leader, inspiring countless others, and leading effectively across multiple organizations. Today, I have the privilege of developing and empowering leaders around the world. And you know what? It all started when someone saw something in me that I couldn't yet see in myself and reminded me that being me was enough. Being you is enough. Authenticity is the intersection of self-awareness and courage. It's about knowing who you are and having the guts to show it. I'm going to challenge you today. Resist the comfort of staying where you are. Don't settle for less than your best. Stop looking beneath you for guidance and approval. You are better than you think. You're a better person, leader, athlete, professional, whatever it is that you do. So work through those doubts. Push past that fear and become confident in leading as your authentic self. Because your authenticity is your superpower. Embrace it and let it shine. Authenticity. So here we go. The future of work is not something that happens to us. It is something we shape. True leadership isn't always measured by how many people serve you, how many people are bowing down to you. No, it is measured by how many people you serve. Because leadership isn't about titles. I've said that several times, and I'm sure other speakers have. It's not about titles or positions or the authority we hold. It's about the impact we make. Impact on people, impact on teams, impact on the future. And that impact is not accidental. It is built through intentional actions in a few key areas. And I want to share those few areas with you before I wrap it up here. First one is relationships. Success is never a solo journey. I guarantee you, if you ask around, most people can trace their successes and failures to the relationships in their lives. Every significant achievement is connected to relationships. Whether leading a team, managing a project, or making critical decisions, your ability to build trust and connect with people is going to determine your level of effectiveness. That's just a fact. Skills like empathy, critical thinking, adaptability, communication are more valuable than ever. Technical knowledge alone is no longer enough. You can be skilled at your job, but that's not enough, because people don't only follow titles, they follow those that they trust. And true leadership starts when people choose to follow you. They choose to be influenced by you, not because they have to, but because they want to. Great leaders don't take from people, they pour into them. They listen, they serve, and they invest in helping others succeed. So, are you building bridges or barriers in your relationships? Another question for you to take back and think about. Now, once the relationships are built, now it's time to equip your team. Leadership is not about you. It's not all about you, right? It's about those you empower. A leader's job isn't just to lead, it's to raise up more leaders. The most impactful leaders understand that success isn't measured by what they accomplish alone. No, it's about how many others they help succeed, right? Too many leaders get stuck in doing everything themselves. They feel like they have to do it all. But true leadership is about multiplication, not just about execution. Leadership isn't about keeping the power, it's about giving it up. Give it away. You'll be fine. Your job is not in danger. Give the power up and equip your team with the skills, knowledge, and the confidence that they need to lead in their own right. Because the strongest organizations are built on leaders who develop independent thinkers, problem solvers, and decision makers, not just followers. We need followers, but we also need more leaders. So, are you building people up or keeping them dependent on you? Reflection. Now, you can't build relationships or equip your people if you don't have the right attitude. And that's my next point. Attitude. Hey, this is the game changer in leadership, right? Because now don't get me wrong. Again, skills matter. Strategy absolutely matters. But attitude? Attitude can be the difference between success and failure, right? Organizations like Stanford, Harvard, Carnegie Institute, right? They all gave us research that tells us 15% of your success is a result of your skills, your job skills, your expertise. That only accounts for 15% of your success. While the other 85%, it's you. It's your attitude, your mindset, your ability to connect with people. 85% of your success. The right attitude determines how leaders face adversity, how they manage setbacks, how they inspire their people. Because every leader is going to face obstacles. But what separates the best from the rest is how they respond. Whether you realize it or not, your energy, your mindset, and your outlook will set the tone for those around you. So if you want to be strong, right? Or if you want a motivated team, you got to start with the attitude that you bring to the table. It starts with you. Great leaders embrace challenges, they seek solutions, they take ownership, and they stay focused on what's possible. So are you leading with an attitude that lifts others up, or is your attitude holding folks back? Think about that. Write it down, reflect on it, answer it for yourself. And then ultimately, leaders have to lead. Leaders must lead, right? You are a leader, you've got to lead. That's just what it is. So the question isn't if you are leading, but how you are leading. Leading is not easy, but it is worth it. We must be willing to challenge ourselves if we want to experience continued growth, right? Because we talk about growth, leadership, the ability to guide others. It's going to require a little bit of tension, right? Not the kind that breaks us, but the kind that stretches us into becoming stronger leaders, right? You need a little bit of tension in your life. John Maxwell has what he calls the law of the rubber band. Rubber band. It teaches us that we are at our best when we are stretched. Yes. Right? And we become ineffective when we're not challenged or tested. Right? This rubber band doesn't do anything when it's not challenged. You get the most out of that rubber band when you stretch it to keep things together, to hold something together. But when it's not challenged, it's a waste. It's a waste of time. And I'll tell you really quick, I saw this principle in action with my son, Kevin, and his bow and arrow. And he recently came to me extremely frustrated because the arrow was not projecting as far as it was designed to go, right? It's got a little toy arrow here, and it just wasn't projecting really far. And you know, I looked at it and I noticed that the band wasn't quite tight enough, right? This band here didn't have the proper tension on it to be able to propel that arrow, right? So we made some adjustments. So, you know, a little top here, we put some little knots in there. May be hard for you to see, but after putting some knots, readjusting the band, gave it the proper tension. Once it had the proper tension, that arrow flew further, right? It performed. It did what it was supposed to do. And Kevin was extremely happy with the results. I share that because that same principle applies to us. Whether we're leading ourselves, our families, or in our organizations, we can't reach our full potential without embracing a little bit of tension. Growth requires discomfort. It requires discomfort. Just like that bow and arrow, we grow stronger when we are stretched, right? Growth comes from doing the hard things, having honest conversations, taking responsibility, improving ourselves daily. Just as that bow's tension determines how far the arrow can fly, the stretch in our lives is going to determine how far we go. Success in leadership and in life is a daily commitment to building relationships, equipping others, cultivating the right attitude, and leading with purpose. I love it. I want to leave you with this thought. The best way to predict the future is to create it, because the future belongs to those who are bold enough to lead when others hesitate, to serve when others seek to be served, and to remain authentic when the world calls for compromise. I believe in your ability to not only navigate the future of work, but to shape it into an environment where people thrive. I believe in your ability to lead with vision, with resilience, with purpose. The future of work is waiting for leaders just like yourself. So let's show the world what first-class leadership looks like. I love it. Hey, I just want to thank you for your time and attention today. And as always, we can stay connected at necojohnson.com. This has been amazing. Thank you for an opportunity to share. You guys take care.
Wow, sir, that was powerful.
Thank
That
you, my
was
brother.
very, very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing those powerful gems.
Absolutely.
First, I must say, you don't look like a grandfather. You know,
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for
yes,
that.
yes, you are obviously doing something that people need to learn. You know, so
Cutting off. I don't grow out the hairs. Once I grow that out, then I look more grandfatherly.
oh, okay, okay, yeah, that's the secret then. That's
That's
one
it.
of the secrets. All right, so thank you so much. And you talked about AI, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence, and there are still people who have not come to terms with the fact that
Oh man.
AI is the present and the future.
It is here. It is absolutely. Absolutely.
So yes, thank you for talking about that. And we want to encourage every leader to start. You know, sometimes change could be challenging.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage everybody to start learning, because the world is just going to like leave you behind like so quickly. Like
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop for anyone.
no, no, no. So take advantage of all the courses. Our institution, we are working on creating some basic AI, some basic courses on artificial intelligence, maybe a 4 module course that will just teach you the basics, how to use AI for your business, for your ministry, for your personal schedule and lives as well. All right. So thank you for reminding us about that. And you also said leaders must connect vision to the actual impact.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, we must be driven by the fact that we need to make an impact and we need to serve others. You said leaders must learn to show up and serve. It doesn't matter. Challenges are part of life. Challenges are part of leadership. Leaders are hired to solve problems, to come up with strategies. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And you also said attitude. The attitude of a leader is very important.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how much the leader knows, you know, what they can do. If they have the wrong attitude, you have reminded us as leaders that if we have the wrong attitude,
Yes.
it will blow up every other thing.
Throws everything else out the window.
That's it. So thank you for sharing that. And you said we should be committed to building relationships.
Yes.
I know there is a saying that your network determines your net
Worth.
worth.
Absolutely.
So relationships are key. Thank you once again for reminding us about these. And we will be reaching out to you. Um, we see ourselves, I see myself inviting you. I see the team wanting you to come back again for the next leadership conference, and we will
Yeah.
certainly be in touch. Thank you so much for your time, and you
Absolutely.
have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Stay blessed, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. It's been a wonderful journey, and we will be wrapping up we will be wrapping up for this session. But before I do that, I want to encourage everybody and to remind every leader that leaders are readers and leaders are speakers. So, what we have done is I put together a book titled Leadership Principles Unleashed. Leadership Principles Unleashed. This is a book that I wrote. It is a guide to taking charge, leading teams, and maximizing potential. This book is available on Amazon. You can get a copy of this book. It will help you with your leadership. It will help you on your leadership journey. And there is a second book that I want to recommend for every leader. It doesn't matter if you are a brand new leader or a seasoned leader. Time Management for Leaders. It is the title of the book. This is one of my favorite piece right here. Time Management for Leaders. It doesn't matter how good you are when it comes to leadership. If you do not know the importance of time management, then it becomes a challenge. So this book is also available on Amazon.com, Time Management for Leaders. Go get yourself a copy. In this book, we talked about effective strategies for maximizing productivity. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank you all. Um, we are at that stage. We are at the conclusion of the virtual MCU Leadership Conference 2025. I will say it was an amazing journey. It was an absolutely amazing journey. Now, over the past 3 days, we have explored the power of leadership, the importance of mentorship, and the responsibility we all carry to empower the next generation. But today is not the end, it is the beginning. The lessons we have learned, the insights we have gained, and the connections we have made should not stay within the walls of this conference. They must be put to use. As we close, I leave you with 3 key challenges, and I want you to write this down. Number 1, you must lead with purpose, which means you have to make a conscious effort to influence the world positively. And number 2, empower others. Why? Because true leadership is about lifting others up. You have to be a mentor, be a guide, and invest in people. And lastly, number 3, take action. I once said that information all by itself does not lead to success, but converting that information is what leads to success. So today, I want to encourage you to apply what you have learned. Why? Because the world needs your leadership, and the time to act is right now. So on behalf of Mainseed Christian University, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to every speaker, to every participant, and everyone who made this conference possible. Your dedication to becoming and building great leaders is what will drive positive change in our world. May you go forth empowered, equipped, and ready to lead. This is your moment. So I want you to embrace it. I want you to own it. And I want you to make a difference. Thank you. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing the impact you will make. I remain Dr. John Ughulu, president of Mainseed Christian University and the convener of MCU Leadership Conference 2025. Stay blessed, everybody, and bye for now.